Right, I can do it.
We know you can.
Start
Thank
training
you.
camp.
That's like a
Okay,
threat.
I'm gonna take a heed to that. Let's go.
Start training camp. Just what does this mean for your offense and just getting going?
It's time, a lot of work. Exciting for everybody involved, coaches, players, fans. It's an exciting time of year for football, and our guys are in good position. We're ready to go get some work done.
Coach B and the players talked about more balance this year in that running game. Obviously, the injuries, offensive line issues, but what's key to getting that going this year?
Well, we got to make a commitment to it. You got to, it's got to permeate through the organization as a play caller. It starts, with me and the way we structure things and the way we play. We've done some things, I think, in the off season to help us enhance what we've been doing and how we've been doing it, and like you always do. And then we got to go do it when it comes time to do it. We got to be able to run the football. We're going to be a better football team if we can run the ball effectively and obviously defend the run. That's our saying, and that's just what good football teams do. And we got to run the ball better, certainly on our end.
What's goal for day one, and what's goal for week one?
I don't know if I set a goal out for week one. Day one is to pick up where we left off, right, and to get some of the new guys acclimated, but to be an extension and not day one of fall camp, not being more or less like day 16 of spring ball instead of day one. Does that make sense? Like we're trying to pick up where we left off, pushing the envelope a little bit, or pressing the envelope, I should say, and then just trying to push our guys and growing and learning. And but yeah, that's really my goal, is just can we hit the ground running where we left off in the spring.
Some thoughts on the quarterback position overall. Is Luke ready to take the next step, and is there quality depth behind him?
Yeah, I think we've talked about all this a lot, and nothing's really changed over the summer. Other than those guys have had a good summer of prep, like our team has, probably most teams in America have. That's the truth about the summertime, and you should win summer, and we did. We had a great summer with Tank, and in particular the quarterbacks and their leadership and the growing. It's a constant process, and so we feel good about that. If they can continue where they left off in the spring, the quarterback position, then if they have the type of camp that they had in the fall that they had in the spring, we'll be in position to be able to play winning football for our team.
Does your offense look different this fall just because you have quarterbacks that have multiple years in the system and kind of know what they're supposed to be doing?
I don't know if it looks different. It feels different, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's some things that we've added that we've been able to afford to be able to do because they're comfortable with the base system. There's certainly merit to this not being the first fall camp with Luke, or this being the third, or Tommy. This is the third for Donovan. This is the second for Luke. Kirkland's been here going on 3 years. So there's some maturity in the room that when you install, you can go a little bit more forward because they've been around and they know what they're doing.
You added some tight ends who have been productive as pass catchers at their last stops. What do you think of that room, and how much versatility or maybe ability to stretch the fields in there?
Yeah, I'm excited about the room. I mean, that's not coach speak. I am. We didn't have Boyer in the spring. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's doing full speed. And I thought Tanner had a really good spring, and additions of Goda and Cole did a nice job. So I think we've got Nate Ginn. We've got that room. It's not altogether unique for all of them to be in different shapes and sizes, because that's how you recruit that position. It's hard to cookie cutter tight ends because they have a lot of different body styles and strengths, and so that's kind of what our room looks like. It's my job to find their strengths and enhance those, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for them to show us what they can do here early on in camp.
What's different about the offensive line going into training camp than last year?
Obviously we got some new faces. I think we have more depth, more experience returning. There's a lot to like about that, and I think it's a hungry group, and we're going to do a good job of playing to their strengths, minimizing the weaknesses. That's our job, and I'm not saying about that to the line. That's my job as the offensive coordinator at all positions. But I really liked where our guys left off in the spring, and the mix of new faces with the return of the old and some maturation of the younger guys. So I think it's a good hybrid room that's in a good spot. We need to stay healthy there, continue to get better like we do at every position, but I do like where we're at and where we're heading into fall camp.
How quickly can a guy like Zachary Franklin be, in your mind, ready to go, integrated and aware of everything going on here?
Well, obviously, it's a unique situation in the fact that if Zachary had not played under my offense and the offense that we're doing previously, that would be a grave concern coming in this time of year. Not a grave concern, but a challenge, a little bit more of one. I don't think it's going to be as big of a challenge, because I would say probably 50 to 75% of it he's going to have some familiarity with, even though we've changed a lot of things up. He can translate that. So I think after this camp will be great for all of our football team, but in particular after the 3 weeks crash course that Zakari's going to get, I think he'll be in shape and position to be able to streamline in our offense and not have any challenges.
You mentioned the charity in the quarterback room, the comfort they have. What does that mean maybe for them on the field? Just have you seen maybe different from Luke, from Donovan, just because they've got that base?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good question, and I saw some of that come to life in the spring, but I really witnessed grow this summer with Tank and the staff and the things that they pressed them to do in a leadership voice role, and I see that already just in the interactions we've had in the meeting room and the walkthroughs, but really we haven't been on the field yet, so I'm anxious to see that come to fruition. And listen, that's not a necessity to be a raw. Like I've been around raw guys, vocal guys that couldn't throw it where they need to throw it and couldn't operate where they need to operate, right? And so I think sometimes too much can be made about being vocal. I've seen vocal guys not be really good players, and I've seen non-vocal guys be really good players. And it's really about whatever you're designed and how you're made is to press your comfort zone and become. If you're a 5 on the vocal scale, well, let's get to a 6. You know, if you're a 9, let's keep it at a 9 and improve another skill set. So I'm anxious to see them interact. I don't expect to be some grave difference and big giant difference in what we saw in the spring, but there'll be improvement there, and that'll help our team.
For media day, I'm paraphrasing Brett, but he said there's a sense of confidence coming offensively, and maybe not just like fall camp coach speak confidence. So what's the root of that for you guys with what you have?
Well, I mean, I would hope that we would, that even though we had some struggles, certainly at all times during the year, that you would never lose confidence in what you're doing in the belief system in this building, because we have a lot of guys pulling the same rope. And, even though we may have a rough game, our biggest challenge is to be consistent, right? And to be a consistent, a dependable unit offensively, to where that doesn't mean you score a certain amount of points each week, but it just means each week you show up. And there was times last year we didn't show up. And that's got to be eliminated to where every week we can show up to whatever that looks like. But so I think late in the year, our guys gained some confidence, regained some confidence. If it was shaken, regained some confidence to know that we've got enough talent, and schematically, I think we do enough good things. That doesn't mean we have the market cornered in what we're doing or any of that stuff, but it's been proven that what we do can work if I call it the right way and we implement it the right way and our guys play the right way, that can be positive results. That doesn't mean every play, every series. So I think part of that they just gleaned from last year's success down the stretch, and we've got a bunch of older players that understand what that looks like.
Are there one or two things?
That's my longest answer, by the way.
There are one or two things you feel like you can hang your hat on offensively, or is it more about being multiple and
Yeah, we need to be
versatile?
balanced, and we need to be balanced. We have to strive and our identity has to really come through. We have to be smart in what we're doing on early downs and the way we're attacking the passing game and the protection game. And we laid it all out, and our guys know that, but we're really trying to be a little bit more finite in the detail we give our guys about how we're going to play and what we're going to do and how I'm going to call it, how it's going to be structured. And so that starts with balance. We have to be able to run the football, and everything's going to be better for us offensively if we can run the football, and that's going to be a big point of emphasis for us.
Did you look at the running back
warning for
the running back
That's
injuries?
new this year. by the way.
Did you look at you and Brett and Tank and all of that, and look at the running back injuries last year and just flush it as an anomaly? I've never seen anything like that before. Or
Yeah.
Did you guys, human nature-wise, go, okay, are we doing something wrong here?
Oh, I think always both of that.
Right.
I mean, there's always introspection to say, well, or what are we doing in practice or whatever. And we got a great staff of our medical staff, strength staff. That's not my lane. My lane is to control what I can control, and Thad or I last year couldn't control any of that. Bad luck. It's just one of those years, and wash it, flush it. And this is 2024, and inevitably there'll probably be something that we get blindsided by this year. Don't want it to happen, but the name of football is that something inevitably will happen. It's that we have to react to and respond to. Thought we did a good job of that last year. But we want that whole stable healthy, because if they are, I think they're a really good. Just a group of guys that complement each other, and it takes a stable to have an effective running game, and we're excited about that group.
What do you think of? You've gotten glimpses of all those guys. What do you think of that running back group? All complements.
Well, it's kind of like the tight end room, like if you look at them, there's 4 or 5 different body types and 4 or 5 different skill sets, and I think that can be hard on a defense, to have to tackle a guy like this, and then all of a sudden another guy injects in the game, and it's a different skill set. I think coaches always liked having those kind of combinations. I see that with that group, I see a complement of, but the bottom line is they're all very intelligent, and they all can handle anything that we throw at them. So there's nothing each of those guys can't handle. It's just a matter of us figuring out what exactly their super strengths are and play into that and complement each other the way we
We have time
rotate.
for one more.
The slot position, obviously you replaced a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
What's that competition like, and what's kind of approach at that position?
Well, I think at that position in general, at the wideout room, we've got a bunch of guys there that have talent, that have flashed, you know, even in spring, that are this camp will be really important for them for that I don't want to say pecking order, but the way we're going to end up playing at all positions, not just the slot, the X, the Z, the F. Obviously, Pat is the most proven of the group. We've got other guys that caught balls in games too, in Big Ten games, and so they need to use that experience to move forward. But across the, you know, Hank and obviously Canary worked there the majority of the time. Mario, we're excited to see what he can do healthy wise, and there's guys on the perimeter that can go inside. We've got some flexibility this year you know, that our bottom line is we're going to put our best guys out there, and they're going to have plenty of opportunities to show us that, you know, that they're the guy that wants to be out there and needs to be out there. And they've already shown flashes of that. So it's going to be a great competition there at that position. And it's really going to make us better across the position.
Thanks, guys.